There's just two types of people in the world. It's always like pointing the finger at it's all your fault, and then other people who just find ways to take ownership and responsibility. And I think the second perspective is a lot more important because it allows you to feel more in control. People are so focused on optimizing based on theory and paper, when in reality, optimizing for life yields much greater results.
A lot of people also don't want to invest into the things that are technically invisible as well.
Man.
So it's a very interesting industry.
Investing is a great word because, man, I deal with a lot of people who are so hesitant in investing into coaching. It's not a money problem, it's a mindset problem.
Correct. For Alex Mendoza, fitness was never just about the gym. It was about finding control when life felt uncertain, about building discipline when everything else seemed to fall apart. He's faced setbacks, doubts, and moments where quitting seemed easier. But each rep, each routine, and each day in the gym became more than just training. It became a philosophy. It became a way of life. From transforming his own body and mindset, to coaching others through their journeys, to building a business that proves fitness can be the foundation for success in every part of life. Alex's story is proof that strength isn't just physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and most importantly, it's showing up for yourself inside and outside the gym when no one else would. This is more than a story about fitness. It's a story about life, resilience, and becoming the person you are meant to be.
You know, goals are just dreams without action.
Yeah.
You can keep dreaming, you can keep saying you're gonna do it, but unless you...
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Point 01 podcast with me, obviously, Alan Fu. But today we have a very special guest, Alex Mendoza, on. This is episode 18. Let's get straight into it. So, Alex, you are probably one of the top fitness coaches I've seen on the social media game.
Thank you.
And also, we've been friends for a while now, which is pretty cool. We actually met in a random Filipino restaurant for a friend of ours for her birthday.
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
Very long ago.
I forgot about that. Is
I
that
know.
how we met?
Yeah, that was how we met. Like
Wow.
I think we knew of each other through socials.
Yep.
But that was the first time we actually met in person.
I do remember that.
It was funny because everyone's eating Filipino food, which, you know, as we know, sometimes is quite fatty, quite oily, quite this and that. And then I remember this jacked guy sitting in the corner by himself eating fucking chicken and rice. And that's where I remember meeting you. And that was my first impression of you. I was like, fuck, this guy's disciplined, man. That was cool. And then, yeah, so that's where I met you. I saw a lot of your content since. You have been, I'll say, fairly viral at times.
Yeah.
But recently on social media, it's been more business rather than a lot of personal content creation and influencing. But for a lot of people out there who don't know, let's run through who is Alex Mendoza, the psychology that you have, you know, how you've created the business you are today. You are probably one of the top online fitness coaches, I would say, that I know and
Thank
that
you.
I know of.
Big claim, but thank you.
Yeah, I think you are, though. I'm pretty sure you'll be in the top 1% bracket for that for sure. So let's run through who is Alex Mendoza. Let's start with, like, were you born here in Australia?
No, I actually was born in the Philippines. We left when I was 7.
Which part of the Philippines?
Manila, Quezon City.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, we left when I was 7. We immigrated to Singapore, and then from Singapore we went to Dubai, and Dubai eventually Australia. We were tossing up between either Canada or here. We ended up here. As you know, immigrants, work stability.
Yep.
We needed citizenships, so we migrated to Australia for a more stable life. My dad works in IT.
Yep.
So, you know, if you lose your job in Dubai, essentially you get sent back home to the Philippines, which, like any Asian country, not the best for opportunities and growth. So we moved to Australia and thankfully got our citizenship and have been living here for about 15 years now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So moved over to Australia. How old are you now, by the way?
27.
26.
Still 26, turning 27.
It's fucking young, right?
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So you're like a young stud. You're going out there, you're crushing it, you're building $1 million businesses. That's fantastic. And yeah, so what was it like growing up? You moved a lot.
Yes.
So how did that impact you growing up as a child? You never had that stability. It was always this country, that country. We're trying to get a better life. Your parents are struggling. They're hustling. They're immigrants. What was it like for you growing up?
It was definitely challenging. I mean, being the smallest kid, being Asian, you were definitely an easy target, especially in the Middle East back then. You know, racism was a lot more prominent compared to now. It was huge.
Really?
Way bigger. I mean, this is like 2000 and what's today, 2025, right? Like 2010, 2000. There was nothing like that on social media where equality and that wasn't really a thing yet. I mean, now we have all these
gender equality, this equality, that equality.
I just wanted racial equality.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
But we were I was not treated very well by other people. I mean, I remember one time I was at a bus and some kid literally like fly kicked me through the face, right?
What the? No way.
Yeah, it happened. And I had so much trauma from school, and it made it really difficult for me to find a place to belong. I couldn't really speak well. English wasn't my first language, so I would pronounce words funnily. I would look different. I was very short, very skinny, so that was a huge insecurity. And it just, I felt very consumed by that. And I felt like the world was my enemy, and I took everything so personal.
Yeah.
And that obviously deflected a lot of opportunities, when in reality it was just me being insecure. And I didn't know that at the time. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much opportunity they kill from themselves due to that lack of confidence. Because that insecurity, it stemmed into my family, like the way I showed up for my brother, the way I showed up for my parents. I was just this angry, insecure, anxious kid.
Did you have like that emo phase when you were in?
Oh, definitely.
Did you have the fringe as
Yes.
well? You did?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my
I wonder
God.
if you can put a
Send me a
photo.
photo. Send me
Yeah.
a photo. You have to send me a
So
photo.
one of the I had like this Justin Bieber haircut, and a lot of people thought it was because Justin Bieber was popping off at the time. But it was actually because I wanted to cover my Asian features. It was to cover my ears, my eyes, my nose. Like, people made fun of how big my ears were. They'd say Buddha ears.
Oh my God.
Right? Because I had a small head. I was a skinny kid, but my ears are huge.
Yeah.
I think now my traps just kind of...
It balances it out.
Balances it out. It's still big.
But you know what? I guess, your partner will say you're a good listener, right? So that'll be good.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
But it definitely made it very difficult for me to feel like I belonged. And I always felt like a bit of an outcast. There were times in school where kids were dared to sit next to us at cafeterias. We were those Asian kids in the back corner playing Minecraft and eating cafeteria food.
Yeah.
Like, we'd mind our own thing, and then people would kind of come up to us and...
I dare you to go sit next to Alex.
Literally, man. And you felt like a circus freak. Like,
yeah, right.
And being young, obviously, that has an impact. And I didn't
100%.
realize then. But
100%.
looking back, it obviously made me question my... Like, am I normal?
Yeah, right.
You know, like, why am I looked so differently? And I accepted that identity, that I'm different and I'm meaningless and worthless. You know, and it doesn't help that teachers, well, you know, after moving overseas, teachers didn't really believe in me. They didn't think I was ever going to be anything. And having Asian parents, as you know, they're not very supportive sometimes.
Yep.
Oh, they are, but they don't tell you they are.
100%. It's the I love you in actions, but not I love you in words.
Yeah. It's like, I love you, so go do better.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I love you, so you have to be the best.
Yeah, it's like, I love you, but you're not good enough.
It's the silent pressure of being Asian. That's what it is.
And there's pros and there's cons to it, right? Like, upon reflecting now, there's elements that the way my parents have parented me, there's elements I want to maintain with my kids, but there's also different ways I want to approach that. Because I think that tough love is important to develop masculinity and leadership traits.
I agree.
Especially in this world. It's getting softer and softer every year.
I know. I mean, like, well, we're both known to be somewhat a little bit controversial because we're not afraid to speak our thoughts and opinions. I mean, you've gone viral many times for speaking your opinions about fat people and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Yes, correct. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. I think everyone thinks they have the right to opinion. But that doesn't mean everyone's opinion should be the correct opinion, right? But with that being said, I think it's very important for how we determine how we want our future to go based on how we have received, you know, some treatment and how we want to be better from that as 100%. Well. So, you know, going back to you, obviously moving overseas in Dubai and also Singapore, right?
Yes.
Two very different countries. You're half Chinese?
Half Chinese,
half Filipino. But you don't speak any Chinese. If
no,
you spoke Chinese, bro, you would crush. I reckon if you spoke Chinese and you went to China, see you later. You eight-figure years for sure. But yeah, Dubai versus Singapore. What was that like? One's obviously Middle East and one's obviously, you know, very Asia, East Asia kind of region. So what was the difference like growing up there? When were you in each country?
It's so interesting, right? It's so interesting because, like, even though I was Asian, I still didn't feel like I belonged in Singapore.
Oh, really?
And then when I was in Dubai, I still didn't belong because I was not Middle Eastern.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was always like in this in the middle. Like in Singapore, I couldn't speak Chinese, so I was still this weird offshore kid who
looks kind of Chinese, but is not. But he
he's
also
not,
doesn't speak Chinese. So,
I remember at school, like I wasn't really paying attention. And my Chinese teacher, I think we were learning Chinese, and he like slapped me with a book. Back then, that was okay.
Yeah, of course. Nowadays, you'll be in jail straight away. See you later.
So I never felt like I belonged there either. And I was only there for 2 years. I was very young. So I was still kind of developing. I didn't really understand life. I think for a lot of people, you really develop and start to question who you are when you're around that, I would say, 15-year-old mark. So Dubai had more of an impact because I was there for longer and I was a little bit older. That's when my identity started forming. So I don't really remember Singapore too much.
So you were younger when you were in Singapore.
I was younger, yeah.
So first Singapore, then you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were in Dubai?
I think I moved there when I was like 13, 14. So that's when I started to develop like conscious and...
Yeah, that was high school, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
year 7. So whatever year 7 would be.
High school. Yeah, high school. Yeah, so, oh wow. And then from Dubai, you came to Sydney.
Yes.
When was that?
I moved to Sydney, I remember when I was in year 9. So I think I would be around 15 at that point.
16 at that time. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you find much difference when you came to Australia then? Was there more? Because Australia's theoretically quite multicultural. I say theoretically because I think innate racism still exists quite a lot here, even though there's lots of different colors, lots of different people, lots of different species of people, right? But there's a lot of people in Australia. Did you find that it was very different when you came here versus in Dubai?
When I came here versus Dubai, I would say they're definitely a lot more accepting here.
Okay.
They were more accepting. They were less entitled. The people are nicer here, for sure.
What suburb did you move to?
I moved to Balcom Hills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Balcom Hills.
Yeah, Balcom.
So, of course, like Asian Central, right?
Yep. Still Asians. Yep.
So, definitely a lot more accepting. But because I've developed that identity and I think I was almost traumatized from my experience in Dubai, that's still who I saw myself as, this little shy, insecure Asian kid. But definitely coming into Australia, I started to develop a little bit more confidence. But even then, I feel like I didn't know who I really was until, I don't think anybody really knows who they are, but that level of conscious wasn't fully developed until I was like 21, 22 after my ex.
Wow.
So that was a huge pivotal moment for my life.
Wow. So what was it like then? Coming to school, were you still very like self-conscious, very kind of like shy, kind of like reserved?
Yeah,
was that what it was like?
Yeah.
Because you're very much different now in the way you portray yourself online. Very different now.
Yeah.
Super confident. You're like that alpha male top dog kind of character now online. But obviously very different from where you were maybe roughly 10 years ago, right? So what happened then? Because you just mentioned your ex, and I hope this is okay with your partner. She's not.
No, we talk about it all the time. I think,
okay,
actually.
good.
Yeah.
But what was it like with your ex? How would you say she shaped kind of who you are, that awakening for you?
I think it goes back. I feel like my whole life revolved this concept on not feeling good enough for anyone or anything. And I think a lot of Asian men deal with the same issue. Parents, relationships. I think being yellow, we were raised to this idea of dating white girls. I don't know why, but that was the thing.
So strange.
That's the thing, right?
I'm never attracted to white girls.
Yeah.
I don't find white girls
Really?
attractive. Yeah, no.
But I know that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was always like constantly rejected.
Yeah, right.
And I think that made me feel
Did you
more
chase white girls? Was that what you
I wouldn't
wanted?
say I chased white girls. I wouldn't say I did much chasing. I'm very reserved when it comes to that. But I think I would say I was a little bit more interested because I was taught to think that whiter skin is better.
Yeah, that's an Asian mentality.
It's an Asian mentality, right?
For people who don't know and they're watching, and they're going, "What the fuck? Why is Alex and Alan talking about white skin and fair skin?" Yeah. The thing with Asian culture is it used to be like synonymous with like the fairer your skin, right? The richer you are and the more prestigious your family is from, because all the farmers out in the field had the dark skin because they were under the sun all day, so they're the brown ones and they're the dark ones, and so that was in direct relation. The darker you are, the poorer and lower prestige you are in society. So
which is interesting because in Australia it's the opposite.
Yeah, everyone wants to be tan.
Yeah, everyone wants to be tan, right?
So
it's so interesting. But like being brown and darker was not a good thing, especially being Filipino. We're naturally a little bit more tanner, but being half Chinese, I'm kind of like in the middle.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
And then in Chinese culture, fairer skin's also good. In Filipino culture, it's the same. Fairer skin is also good.
Anyways, so I was kind of like conditioned to think that, but I am going to go on a bit of a tangent, but I think as I grew up, cultural alignment became more and more important because values and ethos is huge.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point I was going back to was like the culture, my culture and my ex's culture just did not align. We had different values.
What background was she? Was she Aussie?
Australian.
She was full Aussie. Yeah.
She was Australian. She grew up in Quakers Hill, and I think we did not align. And in that relationship, I almost thought that I was crazy. Because there would be times where I'm not okay with doing certain things. Don't wear this, don't do that, don't do this. And to her, that was communicated as restriction. But for me, it's just standards, right? It's just my expectations. But because I was so uncertain with myself and who I was, I thought it made me question myself. And I'm like, maybe I should just accept this, and this is how things are supposed to be.
What would be some of the major things that would have happened? For example, like we always joke about, like, you know, Asians always take their shoes off, and then the Aussies fucking wear their shoes to bed or something.
Yeah.
What was the situations like for you where it was kind of very conflicting culturally?
You know, back then I would definitely be a lot more insecure talking about it, but I think today I've become more accepting with who I am and what my standards are, and Michaela has been huge, and this is why having the right partner is so important, because it really develops your identity, and she's been a huge help. Anyways, for me, for example, in that situation, I don't like tight clothing. I don't like clothing that cuts too low. For me, one, growing up in the Middle East, and then two, being Filipino Asian,
super haram in the Middle East, right?
Like being super conservative. So she would wear and do certain things, and I just would not be okay with that. But I thought to myself, oh, I'm crazy, right? That's not okay. But comparison to now, like Michaela, she's super respectful of, like, oh, I understand, I totally get it, and it made me feel more like, oh, like, it's okay to think this way. You know, and not from a place of I'm going to control your life, but it's like having that open communication, being it's okay to have these standards as a man, right? And you don't need to change yourself, right?
Well, I think there's a big difference between respect and also that toxic male culture, right? Toxic man is like super controlling. You can't go out, you can't have male friends, you can't do this, you can't do that. Whereas, hey, look, listen, babe, I find it like a little bit strange that, you know, this is yada, 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 having an open conversation about it. And I think that's so important to find a partner that respects your opinions too.
Because, I mean, I can go through a whole conversation about this, but at the end of the day, it's branding, right? How you look communicates a certain way to the world.
Correct.
And I don't care what people say about whether or not, you know, you gotta train like blah 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 blah, but like it's branding. You know, this law of attraction, the way you dress, the way your energy, it attracts certain people in your life. And I'm not just talking about relationships, but business, opportunities, network, right? Anyways, going back to, I forgot where I was going.
Going back to your ex.
What about it?
With your ex and how she kind of impacted the way you know, transitioned into your 21st.
Oh, yes,
you know,
right.
Your awakening.
So, anyways, we were together for about 4 years, and there were rumors that she cheated on me. So that, you know, stalked up to the idea of like not feeling good enough, having other people, you know, better than you. And then eventually towards the end of that relationship, she cheated on me with her boss.
Fuck.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a...
It's a bit hectic.
Yeah, a bit of a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And then after that, rather than pointing the finger and saying it's all her fault, I just came from a place of understanding. Like, I understand that she had family issues, family history, problems in the past, and I was just collateral damage. And I think that's very important. That's an important perspective in life, because there's two types of people in the world. It's always like pointing the finger at it's all your fault, and then other people who just find ways to take ownership and responsibility. And I think the second perspective is a lot more important, because it allows you to feel more in control. Now, from that opportunity, I saw, okay, yes, she's done wrong things, but what are the things that I could have improved on to make sure that doesn't happen again? And eventually I realized, you know, no matter how rich you are, no matter how good looking you are, whatever you have, how famous you are, there's either always going to be someone better. And at the end of the day, if they're going to want to leave you, they're going to want to leave you, right? It doesn't really matter. What matters is, are you happy with yourself? What are your values? What are your morals? And what's your ethos, right? Because I did it. Like, I built the social media following, whatever you want to call it. I built a 7-figure business. I'm in relatively good shape. But at the end of the day, if Michaela would want to leave me, she's going to leave me, right? It doesn't matter. There's always going to be someone. And as I explored, I guess, the online space, meeting like 10-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs, people with like 10 million followers, there's always going to be someone bigger.
100%.
You know, and if you constantly live in that mindset of comparison, you're never going to feel happy. And this insecurity that you have manifested within yourself will leak into relationship, and not just romantically, but business, everything. It repels it.
Powerful. Powerful. How did you get to this sort of psychology, this mindset? Because it's not normal, right? Not most people, when they go for a breakup or if their ex cheats on them, especially with their boss, it's a bit fucked up, right? So, how did you get to that sort of mentality? Because you're still young at the time, 21. How did you kind of develop that sort of thought process? Were you reading books? Were you diving into podcasts, listening to audiobooks? What was happening? What was going through your head for you to sit down and rather go, I fucking hate the world, I hate women, all of these people, like, I'm just not good enough? What stopped you and had that checkpoint that went, you know what, let me look at myself and I can see where she's coming from, even though it's a very fucked up situation, I can see where she's coming from. What was that psychology like? How did that happen?
I think that's a very interesting question. I never really sat down to think about it, but the gym has been a huge part of my life. And I think the gym has taught me to continuously pursue self-development, and pain equals change. I think that's where the mindset stems from. And that's my philosophy around what I do as a coach. Like, I want people to, get a good physique, get healthy. But what I want most for the people that work with me is to develop mindset.
Yeah.
And mindset is not something you can teach on paper. It's experiences you have to go through. So I use the gym as our place of practice to develop discipline, develop standards, right? Develop or implement these philosophies or concepts into other parts. Because really think about it, right? There was one moment in my life where, she just broke up with me. I hated my job. I hated my life. Like, everything sucked. And I was like, what's the one thing that I've been able to stick to and I've actually gradually progressed in my life, And it was the gym. And I asked myself, how did I get here? It was because it came down to like 3 core principles. I showed up when I didn't want to. I stayed consistent. I tracked metrics, and I would push past through emotional and physical pain. And I'm like, if I can transfer those teachings and learnings into all parts of my life, I wonder what that would do for me.
Wow.
And that was a starting point.
Wow. That's very powerful. When did you start gym? When was the first day?
15.
Oh, you know the date? I was going to say, you know the date?
No, not the date. I know it was 15, 16, I think is when I first signed up.
So pretty much when you came over to Australia, you kind of started
like
picking
1
up
or
the
2
gym.
years after. Yeah. I started doing, funny enough, when I was in Dubai, I started doing sit-ups. And I can probably post a photo of me when I was like 12. I like, my
you were
core
jacked?
Yeah, my core was shredded.
Yeah.
And again, it was because I didn't feel good enough.
Did you feel like the 6-pack would kind of make you feel worthy? Is that why you were doing it?
No, funny story. So I had a group of friends who were Australian.
Yeah.
And we were like in this friendship group, and they were all working out, etc. And it's so funny. Like, my younger years, I don't know why, but I put, I guess, girls on such a pedestal. I think when you're a young boy, a young Asian boy, you just want to get attention.
It's the testosterone, bro.
Not even that. It's just like, I don't know where it came from. But anyways, I wanted to, they liked them and they were in shape. I was like, I'm going to be better and I'm going to have a better 6-pack. And there's like a photo of me like 13 with like shredded. Shredded. Yeah. Even then, it was just like, I think just this constant comparison has been a common theme I've noticed in my life. And that's something I've been practicing to eliminate over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. And then so when you came to Australia, you used the gym and you got into the gym, and then that developed a really strong sort of philosophy and psychology in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the top lessons that you got out of the gym since 21 to now 27?
Yeah, man.
So 6 years since, big breakup, the gym bros, when they put their headphones on, going for a big breakup, that's when they get shredded, get jacked. 6 years since, what sort of lessons would you say you got out of training?
I remember these 2 things that would always repeat in my head. Now, in training, there's this concept of progressive overload, which is an equation of total volume equals weights times reps times sets, right? And in order to grow and stimulate muscle hypertrophy, in a way, you need to focus on increasing total volume. So I came up with a saying back in 2022, 2023. Kind of went a little bit viral, but I said progressive overload life, right? So same concept. When things get hard, just do a little bit harder. Just focus on increasing your total volume, your stress threshold, your pain threshold, just a little bit every time. And eventually that will compound. That was one. And I remember I don't know why being in shape was so important for me, but when I had my first coach, I remember doing my cardio and doing all these things. And I remember I was pumping a lot of drugs back then. I was just misguided. I didn't know what I was doing. And
what sort of drugs were you doing?
Everything, man.
Really?
I did test, tran, mast. And I'm pretty open about it because...
Yeah, I want to dive into that actually down the line in the middle of our conversation. But yeah, for people who are at home listening, obviously in the fitness space, we're talking about drugs here in the sense of fitness space, not drugs like
Oh
cocaine.
yeah, I've actually never done drugs like that.
Exactly. So a lot of people, hopefully you don't get misguided here, but let's just say gym drugs. I think a lot of people, it's still quite a murky space. It's a lot more open now with social media. But when I first started training in the gym back in like 2009, 2010, it was kind of a very taboo, super hidden topic. The only way you would know is you find the most jacked guy in the gym. He's the guy who has, roids in his pocket or in the fridge in the back, and he would jab you in the ass like later on. But that's how the roid game was back in the day. Nowadays it's obviously very, very different, very, very open on social media. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, when you first started getting to the gym and you started exploring that option, why did you do that? Was that because you weren't confident that you were who you are? You didn't feel like you were worthy, or you wanted a shortcut? Like, what was it?
I think, a funny story. I was super, I was a super natty. Like, I hated everybody who was on PEDs.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think it was my first coach, and we wanted to compete. And I was young. I didn't.
How old were you when you wanted to compete? When was that?
I think I was like 20.
Oh, young.
Yeah, 20, 21. Yeah. I think that's when I first started.
Yeah. Before or after breakup?
After breakup. This is post-COVID.
Oh, post-COVID.
Right?
Okay.
So we're training at home in the garage during COVID times.
Yeah.
And then after that, my coach was like, "All right, boys, we're hopping on." I was like,
hopping on what? The train?
I was like okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I didn't question it.
Oh, wow.
I remember opening that bag, like a bag of goodies.
Yeah.
Not knowing what I was stepping into. But I think there's good ways and bad ways to do drugs. I think at the time, the problem is there's a lot of people out there that don't really know. Lots of coaches who don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I was, I guess, collateral damage
Oh, wow.
again. And dosing was just unnecessarily high, and it just wasn't a great experience. Lots of emotional, and the thing is, like, there's also a lot of stigma around it. Like, if you do PEDs right, it actually has a lot of advantages.
100%.
Like, a lot of the guys that I coach and mentor now, they're a little bit older.
Yep.
Right. So typically we do get them to get some blood work done because often than not, their testosterone levels are actually very low.
Correct.
So for like right now, I'm on like 125 milligrams of test.
Yep.
And that brings my my total testosterone, or I think free test, up to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter.
Yeah.
For Australian, in comparison, just for context, it's anywhere from 400 to 700.
Yeah.
In America, I think it's 400 to 1,000. Yeah, right. So in American standards,
your American standard.
I'm like premium natty.
Yeah, that's premium.
I'm like that 98.
Yeah.
98
gold standard.
I'm
gold standard.
right
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
But before that, actually, man, I used to get sick a lot. So increasing my testosterone, for context, my dad used to get testosterone shots prescribed by the doctor.
Yeah.
So I have this theory, but I never had my blood work properly done in the past. But I think genetically we do not have naturally high testosterone, which is very normal.
We're Asians, right?
That's what I was about to say.
Correct.
There are studies and research that our testosterone levels are naturally lower.
Yep.
And we store fat a little bit differently. Our metabolism is a little bit different.
Yep.
So there are studies that back that. So I'm just going to speculate because I didn't have the understanding to get that metric tracked, that I was a little bit on the lower side. Yeah. But now my focus is great. My mood is great. Sleep is good. Obviously, there was a point where mine was 5,000.
Yeah. Wow.
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
What were you like then? Was there a lot of like roid rage, angriness?
Roid rage, it's funny because like roid rage is just a byproduct of hormonal imbalances.
Correct.
So if your estrogen and your testosterone's like imbalanced, you're okay. If your testosterone and estrogen is still imbalanced, like
at a high level.
Yeah. It's still in ratio, still okay.
Yes.
But you're dieting.
Yeah.
That's when things suck because you're not actually. Personally, roid rage isn't a byproduct of the hormones. It's a byproduct of not being able to manage your mood and emotions, right? There's a lot of people that likes to use roids as an excuse to be angry, but really you're just acting like a child.
Yeah.
There's emotional
You're a tantrum. You're throwing a tantrum.
You're throwing a tantrum.
Correct.
Because there's higher levels of like IFBB pro competitors who are so humble and so at peace, even at higher doses.
Yeah.
But that's because they have been able to practice that mindset. Right. So it's not about the drugs or how much you take. It's about how shitty of a human you are.
I guess that's true. I guess it just amplifies it,
It just
right? It's just like
amplifies.
money, you know, drugs, money, same. It
Exactly.
just amplifies who you are as a human being. So if you have that base level of awareness, if you have that ability to comprehend who you are, your surroundings, and the ability to control your emotions, no matter what you are on, unless it's super fucked up and overly dosed,
Yeah.
you should be okay.
Exactly,
Right.
right.
So, actually, going back on that, when you first jumped on PEDs, right, and you first jumped on different substances for competing, was that for bodybuilding?
It's funny, right? Before we pivot to that, I wanted to
Yeah.
add to what you just said there. It is just like money.
Yeah.
And the philosophies, again, this is why I contribute a lot of where I am today through those experiences. Because money's the same. It just amplifies who you are. Like, I'm not out here spending crazy amounts of money living a luxury life. Like, I still wear like a $50 Fitbit.
Yeah.
And this tank top is like $20, you know? Like, I'm still not going over the top. And, again, I'm just reiterating the fact that it's just philosophies that you transfer to other parts. But going back to your question, what was that? It was
About like when you first started, what was that like? Because, you know, obviously you didn't have a very strong coach.
yeah,
You didn't have someone that was super well educated in the space. And I'm assuming you were preparing for bodybuilding.
oh yes,
And once you jumped on the gear then, wrong dosage, obviously poor education, probably didn't know how to balance the different types of
also
being young, being manipulated, all of that sort of stuff. What was that experience like? What actually happened to you physically? Did you actually grow? Did you swell up? Did you get the back knee that everyone's afraid of? Did you have gyno? All of that.
I love that you have these conversations but I don't think enough people talk about it transparently.
Yeah.
There's a few layers to that. Funny enough, I am on less gear. TRT doses, I grew more.
Yeah.
Because programming, training intensity, training intention is a lot.
Do you remember
better.
how much you grew in that first cycle?
Um,
Because you were relatively skinny still at that stage, right?
no, I was.
you were pretty
I was in good shape.
Oh no, I need some photos. We've got to get some
Yeah, I
references
built
here.
some good foundation before before I took PEDs.
Yep.
Again, I was like this anti-PED guy.
Yeah.
Because back then it was such a big deal, and
It was very taboo, and it was still very new. I think with
no-
PEDs, not much research, not much like.
now nobody
yeah.
really cares.
Yeah.
It has a lot of advantages, but I think really, man, what it was lack of education and lack of understanding who I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about myself, and that I think leaked out. You're 21, man.
Yeah.
You're 20, 21. You're not mentally developed yet. So I wouldn't say it was really the gear.
Yeah.
I think it was just like if I was in the same stuff now, I would be still very, very different. I would like to think I'm more composed, but I don't know. Yeah.
So what actually happened though? Did you get any sort of like physical disadvantages, advantages? Did you feel your hormones like change? Did you feel like the psychology behind what you're doing changing?
Psychologically, yes. I would say I was a lot more aggressive when it comes to training.
Okay.
I had a lot more fire, but I was at also a different headspace.
Yeah.
Like for me, training at the time was my be all end all.
Yeah.
Like I remember saying to myself, I'm willing to die for this shit. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And having said that, right, like I didn't even look that great.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wow, like this mediocre physique guy is saying these things and he doesn't even look that good, right?
Yeah.
But again, having used that mentality, I think it was a stepping stool because now in business and, wanting to become a husband, a father, the same mentality goes, I'm willing to die for this. I'll do whatever the fuck it takes if it means freedom for me and my family. So that's, a lot of people, I think they cop their losses as a bad thing, but it's just it's just stepping stones for learnings and teachings that you can translate into something later, but it's up to you on how you want to look at these teachings. So for me, I could sit and be like, oh, my coach sucked and this and that. But I'm going to decide to think, oh, you know what, man, like it was rough, but I believe that it happened for a reason. And I believe that it taught me a lesson that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Good stuff. For those who don't know what that looks like, because again, it's very taboo, and I'm very open to talking about this stuff with you, obviously, because I come from the fitness industry myself, so I understand. I had a lot of friends on it, yada yada yada. So I think I have at least some context when conversing with you and about this. But for a lot of people who are out there, they probably don't understand. They'll see the giant IFBB pros. These guys are fucking massive, right?
Yeah.
So that's their perception of steroids equals gigantic, like massive
Not quite,
human
though.
beings, which it's obviously not like that. When you jumped on that first cycle, and even now, like different sort of products out there, right? Because everyone's like test, trend, deca, everything, like all of these different things. These are so how does the process actually work? You know, we know that there are injections. Is there oral like ways of consuming? How does the process of someone who is looking into this sort of stuff kind of get into it from a physical aspect of things?
I think, I mean, for the people watching out there that dabbles in SARMs, I've never personally used it.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna take enhancements, just take testosterone. I think testosterone is great.
Yeah.
It's a
And that's the only thing that you're on right now. Right?
yeah. It's a fundamental hormone for like
Yep.
men essentially, and if that's lacking, you really feel the effects.
Yeah.
I don't encourage taking people. I don't encourage people taking enhancements.
Yeah.
But if I can help people avoid making the mistakes I would make, I would run controlled tests.
Yep.
When I say tests, not testosterone, like literal tests.
Yeah.
Like
Physical scientific tests.
Yeah. Like get blood work done. Start at
Yep.
a low dose because sometimes you might respond. And there's so many variables to it. You might get a bad batch. But let's say you start at 250, see how much that increases your testosterone levels by, and then 6 weeks later get another blood test, or maybe 8 weeks, and then increase from there. I think so many people jump straight to 500, but you got to take into account that dosage is depending on quality of product, depends on your genetics, it depends on your current composition, and I think a lot of people, Jimmy's starting his first cycle, 500 milligrams of testosterone.
Yeah.
Like, you can definitely do that, but I don't think it's the safest way to do it. If I can go back in time and change, that's what I would do.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're very meticulous with this sort of stuff, which is great. Great to see, right? Because you'll see.
I am now.
Yeah, you are now.
Because of
Right?
that.
Back then, it was just like, oh, jab this,
Yeah,
jab that.
yeah.
I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, no, I think it's very good that you're very meticulous. And I think that reflects as in how, what sort of coach you are to your people as well. I think that's very, very important. And a lot of people don't understand this, right? There's a lot of trainers out there. Right, in Australia, we're a fitness country. We're a very healthy country per se. There's a lot of trainers, a lot of people on social media, but I wouldn't say everyone is technically good. Some people are just great at marketing, but have a huge lack of foundation. Some people have a huge foundation, but lack of marketing. So it's like, if you are going to go out there and find a trainer or work with someone, it's definitely find with someone, one, you vibe with energetically and you vibe with their energy. And two, obviously their knowledge and experience around that, right? Like, how can you trust someone to teach you about PEDs or SARMs or any sort of enhancements if they've either never used it themselves, administered it themselves, or they don't have the scientific knowledge behind it? How can you trust someone like that? You know?
I think for me, I mean, I don't work with any guys who are enhanced. Most of the guys that I work with are from that 27 to 50 years old.
Yep.
But I think having that experience gone through myself, I can gauge things a little bit better. I'm also able to identify things that their general doctor might not see. I had one guy, the guy who actually sold my Supra. He ended up working with me, and he got his blood work done. I referred him to a few connections here, and again, everything happens for a reason, right? Like, I got connected to this doctor, and because of that, I'm able to help and redirect other people. Anyways, he got his blood work done. Doctor said everything looked fine. Sent it to me. I looked at a few things. I think it was his SHGB. It was a little bit off the mark.
Yeah.
And I told him to investigate into that. Later, we actually found out he was infertile.
Oh, wow.
Right? So he did some tests, did some surgery, managed to freeze his eggs, and now he's okay.
Wow.
So little things like that, it's important to understand what's going on in your body.
Yeah.
But again, having gone through those challenges myself, some of my tribulations, I'm able to help others do better.
Yeah, right.
And so for now, like, when I look at hormones, it's mostly for optimizing testosterone and for older men, per se. Yeah.
Wow. I think that's cool. I think a lot of people don't actually consider that, right? I think health is more than just fitness, and I think a lot of people see fitness as just the physical. Like, you look great, right? You look great. You've got the muscles, you've got the shape, you lower body fat than most people out there. So it's like, you look great. Everyone's going to see fitness as just a physical resolution. But I think fitness and health goes way beyond that. For me, I was always into the nutrition side, the micronutrients, like what sort of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, what sort of stuff, enzymes do you need to have, what sort of this and that. I think that's very, very important. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yes.
But a lot of people also don't want to invest into the things that are technically invisible as well.
Man.
So it's a very interesting industry.
Investing is a great word because, I deal with a lot of people who are so hesitant in investing into coaching.
Yep.
And I tell them, it's not a money problem, it's a mindset problem.
Correct.
Right? Because if you're able to invest the money into partying, shoes, clothes, fast food,
Yep.
like, why are you investing your money into things that make you worse as an individual, that makes you worse as a father, as a leader, right? Something that tanks your confidence even further. But if you set aside that money into something that might actually push you forward, why are you so fearful? But that's because a lot of people live in fear, and change is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? We're wired to just stay in our safe zone. And I think that's what the gym has really taught me. There is no growth in being comfortable. You stay stagnant. If not, you fall further back. Growth happens when you go through pain, challenges, and take risks. And I implemented that same idea into business mentors, growing that.
Yeah. Very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. So let's pivot on to kind of the business side of things. You have a fairly successful business. And for those people who don't know what business you do, your business is called Evolution Coaching, right?
Correct.
And so you do online, essentially, is it online fitness coaching, online PT? What is it? If you were to explain your business,
if I were to explain it, I think the word coaching has really undermined the products and services.
I agree.
think everybody today
Everyone
is a coach.
hates coaches and gurus and this shit.
Yeah,
nowadays.
and I also hate saying that we're mentors.
Yeah.
Just to keep things simple, I help Asian men feel more confident, energized, and healthier.
Yeah, as simple as that.
That's what I do, right? And in that process, the problem is, oh man, a lot of people think that a meal plan, a workout program is what they're missing. But no, it's just a stepping stool. It's just a puzzle piece. The reason people struggle with actually maintaining consistency is a few different things. Psychological behavior, psychological traumas, behaviors, but also just like protocols that don't align with their culture, their work commitments, their lifestyle, right? Obviously, as Asians, we have very different upbringings, different cultural expectations. Food, we connect through drinks. We connect through eating together.
100%.
And Chinese, Japanese culture, business meetings, you drink.
A lot of drink.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like disrespectful when you end up missing deals on that.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we integrate this part of our life and stay healthy so we can continue to excel in those departments while doing everything at once? That's kind of like my approach, rather than, like, I don't treat you like a bodybuilder. You're not.
Yeah.
You know,
strict regimen. You can only eat this. You can only train, like, you have to train 7 times a week.
Exactly.
You have to eat this. You have calorie restrictions.
people are so focused on optimizing based on theory and paper, when in reality, optimizing for life yields much greater results.
Ooh, I like that.
So, like, yes, it's perfect on paper, but that's not how your life looks like, right? So stop aiming for that. You're not a bodybuilder. If you're a bodybuilder, different story.
Yeah. And that's your profession, or that's your goal or dream in life, is to be a
Exactly.
bodybuilder.
Right.
Absolutely different.
So my approach is like, how can we work with what you have so you can show up with energy, with focus, with clarity? And I think the biggest thing a lot of Asian guys struggle with is confidence. Because with lack of confidence, you are doubtful of your decisions, you are doubtful of your choices, and that energy shows.
Yeah.
Like, if you show up to a business meeting or a sale and I sound shaky,
Yeah.
you're not going to want
See
to
you
deal
later,
with me.
100%.
If you show, like, I always say this, like, there's 2 guys with a business deal, right, or a contract. You've got one guy who's in shape, one guy who's sloppy, right? Who do you think will get the opportunity,
100%.
right?
100%.
And obviously the guy in shape.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
Because, like, they look like they can take care of themselves. It shows discipline. Now, not always the case, but it's branding, you know?
That's true. And everything is branding. When you're on the social media game, everything is branding. And so, yeah, I mean, for business, it's so important to be, one, confident, but also in your situation, I like the philosophy where you're trying to build someone's lifestyle around their actual real physical life. Theory is whatever, right? Anyone can be good at theory. Anyone can read up about how to train well. Anyone can read up about how to eat well. Anyone can calculate their calories, because there's so many apps and calculators and ChatGPT nowadays. But how does that all integrate into your life is the most important
Well,
aspect.
let me ask you this, right? Like, did you study business?
No, I didn't. Definitely not.
Right?
I didn't study business, still be able to build a business, you know?
Yeah. I didn't study business.
Exactly.
Like,
and you still got a business.
Yeah, I didn't come from a rich family either. I don't
neither.
think you did either,
No,
right? You were
didn't.
struggling. Your
We were
family.
struggling. We definitely came from a struggling background. So we figured it out and we applied it to how our life works to get to where we are today.
You didn't go to university or anything like that, right?
I did go to university.
But not for business.
Not for business.
Yeah.
I studied nutrition, actually. I studied nutrition and I studied science. So
Did you use that?
no. When I was a PT,
Yeah.
also not really, because it's not very relevant.
Yeah.
What you learn at university is also not very relevant for life.
man.
So Yeah, such a waste,
common,
man. I finally paid off my Hex, by the way, so I was like,
dude, I think I'm still
Cool.
paying my Hex off.
I finally paid it off this
I
year.
recently found out I think it has interest.
Yeah,
I
of
was like-
course,
I
that's
was-
interest, yeah.
Dude, the government was like, "No, don't worry about it."
Yeah. And now you're like, what the fuck? Why do I owe
I'm
40
like,
grand?
this is not moving.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I think a very common misconception I get a lot is personal trainers. A lot of people think what they need is an in-person trainer as well, and I'm like, in-person trainers have benefits, definitely.
Yeah.
They're great for form correction.
Correct.
But they're not actually what you need.
Yeah.
What you need is someone to help you rewire the way you think, and also have a high-level overview, kind of like conducting a business audit, right?
Yep.
You have a lifestyle audit. Like, how does your life look like? What are some leverages that we can, or levers that we can pull that yields the most ROI with the lowest amount of effort, right? So the way I've looked at fitness and business, they're interchangeable. And I implement certain philosophies from business into training into business. Like the reason I was able to scale my business is because I tracked my macros, my calories, my KPIs.
Yeah.
Now I track my KPIs here.
Yeah.
And I'm able to like make certain adjustments. And like when I see like let's say a KPI off mark, similar to the way I look at blood markers,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, what does that number mean? What do I need to change to optimize that? It's the same thing.
I love that. I like that philosophy a lot. I think a lot of people will get confused between the difference. There's a lot of words floating around like online PT, online fitness coach, yada, yada, yada. I think what's really interesting here is, from what I'm hearing, is you're not just an online fitness coach. You're more of an online life and philosophy and psychology.
I don't know what to call it.
I don't know, bro. You're more like a...
I think I just have a unique perspective because
Yeah.
I've done a few different things.
Yeah.
Like I've done the whole fitness influencer stuff. I've been in the fitness influencer game. I built the business. I managed teams. Like I've just combined my learnings into
one big nutshell.
Yeah, and for people to understand what it is, it's just labeled as coaching.
Correct.
But I don't really. It's hard for me to explain it. It's something you have to experience to understand the true value, which is hard when it comes from a marketing perspective.
Correct.
That's my biggest challenge. Is like people will.
How do I explain all these angles in one angle that is nice and condensed for people to understand in 30 seconds? Like that's all it is. Like,
Exactly.
it's so
So
incredible.
my conclusion was like I help Asian men
Yeah.
feel more confident, improve their energy, and have better health.
That's it. Easy as.
That's it.
But
If I
that's
had to
cool.
summarize
That's
it,
cool.
yeah.
I think it's really cool because a lot of people don't see the difference, like you mentioned, between coaching and having a personal trainer
Yeah.
in life. Like you said, a personal trainer is great because they're there physically with you. They can correct your form. They can check your stuff. I think that's awesome. There's a lot of merit to that. But they may not, because they have such high volume of clients. They don't have a huge team behind them. They're usually solo. They probably don't have the capacity to look at every other aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And pretty much everyone that didn't get into uni that has some sort of they love the gym, they become a personal trainer. So it's like
The entry requirement is not as
exactly.
high,
There
right?
is no entry requirement. It's you pay $5,000, go get a course, you get a cert
Yeah.
3 and 4, and then now you're a
Like
PT.
the skills I have created and the perspectives I've developed is through investing over hundreds and thousands of dollars into
100%.
self-development, and then using those learnings and transferring it to my team.
Agreed.
You know, like that's experience that you don't get through TAFE or you don't get through university or a piece of paper. It's
Yep.
lived experience, and
Well, that's what makes you so good. I think
Yeah.
that's genuinely what makes you so good. So actually, let's touch on that now, because business is hard. The good and ugly of business is hard. I mean,
yeah.
number one, 0.01 is all about those guys that cut through the noise. They're some of the top in their industry for what they do. Like from a fitness perspective and from an influencer perspective, I think you're one of the top sort of fitness influencers, especially here in Australia. But besides being a fitness influencer, that's something that you've kind of tried to shed off that skin.
Yes.
Even though you're one of the better ones, you're trying to shed that off. You have hundreds of thousands of followers. But from a business perspective, you've had to learn a lot. Like you said, you've never had that business degree, you never studied business, but you have a very strong business. Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly in business, because I know we always bitch to each other about it on socials whenever we see something go off. But run me through. Like, let's start with the good, right? The last time we caught up, and we were actually just reminiscing about this before we even started filming, was the last time me and Alex actually caught up was like 2 years ago.
Which is
but
crazy.
to us, it feels like it was only like 6 months ago. And that's just how fast and how compressed life kind of is for us, right? It moves so quickly that we don't even realize how much time has gone by, but it has gone by. So since then, I remember 2 years ago, you were asking me like, how do you crack that 7-figure year? You know, and we were kind of like brainstorming and going bouncing ideas back and forth. But now I know you've done it. What's been like the best sort of year, month for you as a business so far?
Best month?
Yeah.
I would say closer to 200.
Ooh,
close to
wow.
200,
I
yeah.
think that was what, a couple months ago. I remember seeing you're like, you're
Yeah.
pushing for
Close to
it.
200. And man, it's so crazy, right? Because one of the biggest lessons I've learned recently, it's like money is great. Again, it
Yeah.
just goes back to the gym. Having a good body is great.
Yep.
Having money is great. In excess, you lose a lot of life. And I think in life, there's different seasons.
Yep.
There was a season, and what I recommend for a lot of people in this order is like get your health in check.
Yep.
Get your business in check.
Yep.
Then get your family in check.
Ooh.
Because if you cannot, a lot of people try to be selfless when they have nothing to give.
I agree. I
And
agree.
how are you able to provide for other people when you don't have anything yourself? And that's where the mentality is wrong. Because your kids, the people around you, they watch how you live. They don't listen to what you say, right?
Yeah.
So they'll grow up to become like you.
Yeah.
And how can you by putting your family first, you're actually putting them last, right? Because you need to build your value first as a man, and I think that starts from the philosophies from the gym, and that's kind of like my philosophy, right? Like gym and health, business, family. Only now, after like God, I don't know how long.
Well, how long have you had your business?
I don't even
5 years
know.
now?
I'm gonna count TikTok.
Yeah.
The early days.
Well, it's
like,
technically still business because
Yeah.
you're still doing brand deals or like
so
you're
I'd say
still
2020,
planning.
right? I would say
So
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Good
5 years.
Yeah.
I would say. That's when I started business,
yeah.
I guess. Only now I'm able to give back to my parents, be present, travel and splurge a little bit.
How hard was it to be present like when we were first starting out, bro? Imagine if you met Michaela when you first started. You'd give her no attention, no time. Like, it would be almost impossible.
Actually, that's how I met her when I first started.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
I met her when we first started, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad I met her when I first started and I had nothing.
Yeah.
Because that really shows who she is, and she really supported me. And I don't think I would be where I am today without her support.
Wow.
And without the level of standard she has held me to. So I'm very grateful that we've met. And
She's an awesome girl. When I met her, she's awesome.
I
Like,
think we
she's
met at
just
a perfect time.
Yeah,
and
she's
she's
crazy.
killing it as well.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing because we've been able to cross-transfer different skills and attributes.
Yeah.
She's very empathetic, nurturing, and caring. That actually helped me communicate and engage and empathize with my audience a little bit more.
Yeah, wow.
With my clients.
I bet she used to watch your old videos and go, bro, you're such a dickhead.
She would never say anything like that. But she was not a fan.
You shouldn't have said that.
She was not a fan, and she's to this day still says, "Hey, you're swearing too much."
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why when I hopped on this podcast,
Yeah, I gotta swear less.
I'm like, Alan, I'm trying to swear less.
She's your branding coach.
She's like, well, that's what she is, right? She helps
she's your
business
PR.
owners tell stories.
Yeah, exactly. She's your PR. She's your PR manager.
She helps me manage my direction, and not even just from a business perspective, but like as a human being. Hey, Alex, go catch up with your mom more.
Yeah.
Hey, be more patient with her.
Wow.
So all these things, she's really helped me build that connection. And then I've also really transferred this idea of scalability, logic,
business,
numbers. Yeah.
That's awesome. You guys are literally bouncing off each
Yeah,
other, which is great.
It's been really good. And there's ups and downs, but we've developed frameworks.
Yeah.
So we kind of treat a relationship like almost like a business.
I have to do the same thing. It's like we have checkpoints, right? You got to check, you got to reevaluate, and then you got to be, okay, cool. If we have a disagreement here, how are we going to resolve that? How are we going to, put our feelings on the table? Yeah, exactly. We have an SOP for it. We have a checklist. We have an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
We go through, we log each other's feelings, emotions, whatever. And I think sometimes it has to be like that.
It needs to be like that.
And I think a lot of people out there are going to sit there and go, that sounds fucking stupid. I never want to do that with my partner. Why would you turn it all into like a business? But I think that's how it works best, to be honest.
And
Well, for people like us, anyway.
No, but here's the thing, right? I think what people don't understand is like, what do I need to do to become successful? It's not about what you need to do. It's who the fuck you need to become.
Correct.
To do that.
Correct.
Right? It's these standards. Like, if you look at relationships from a social media perspective, like similar to yourself, you probably won't think, oh, Alan has an SOP to manage emotional diffusion with his partner.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a sequence for this. It's like, yes, because we standardize it.
100%.
We have a saying called like feedback loop. Like, how can we reduce our feedback loop so much faster?
Yeah. I think it's so important. People miss that because it's like, oh yeah, why would I want to systemize everything? But the reality is we always fall to the level of our systems, not to our level of emotions, not to our level of logic even. It falls down to our level and planning for our systems.
Operations.
Yeah, our operations are very important.
Because I genuinely and truly believe that emotions can be manipulated based on perspective. So if
100%.
you change the way you look at something,
Yeah.
it changes the way you feel, and the way you feel impacts the way you behave.
100%.
So if
So think about it this way, right? How often have you been in a situation where you're in the middle of a heated argument, full raging at each other, swearing, whether it's staff, whether it's partner, whether it's even family or like parents, right? You're full raging, you're angry, you're seeing red, you're emotional. And then they say this one sentence and you just go, oh, fuck, I've been in the wrong this whole time. Or you go, oh, shit, I didn't even think of it that way. So how easy is that to manipulate your emotions if all it takes is one sentence whilst you're seeing red to change it all?
That's
I don't
a
know
great
if
question.
I don't know if you've ever felt that, but like, and I don't know if you've ever had those heated arguments. Like if you and Michaela have ever had like really heated arguments over something stupid, and then she goes and she says this one sentence, you just literally, it just bang, you just literally get railed, and then you're like,
So are you
hold on.
asking me like, what did she say to calm me down or to make me explode?
not to calm you down or make you explode, but in the concept of us talking about how emotions are easily manipulated, right? There's always situations where we will be in an argument, for example, or we'll be in a very heated discussion, and then the other person can say this one sentence, and that just really stops you in that track of emotions, and you reflect. I don't know if you've ever had that.
For me and Michaela specifically,
Yeah.
we've we've split tested. We've split tested,
Yeah,
and we've gotten to really well to understand each other's feelings.
yeah,
I'm a man of physical touch.
yeah.
So for her to defuse me,
It's a physical touch.
it sounds so funny because you're like masculinity.
Yeah.
I just need a hug.
Oh yeah, just give me a hug. Hey, give me a hug.
Like literally, so like I'll get really heated,
Yeah.
and she'll notice I freeze and I breathe
And you're like really,
and I'm like so stiff.
Yeah.
And even though she's mad at me, she'll like force her way and
Yeah.
just like hold me like
Oh, how
this.
cute.
Right? And I don't know how we've come across that system, but I do the same for her as well.
Yeah.
When there's cues.
Yeah.
There's red markers when it comes to behavioral patterns that she does or her tempo of speech.
Yeah.
I can pay attention to all these things. So when that happens, even I'm frustrated, I'll come across and I'll just like hug her.
Is she physical touch as well?
Not as much,
Yeah.
but I think it's just a reminder of, hey, you're safe. We're
Yeah.
in the same team.
Yeah.
My intentions are never bad.
And has she ever done don't fucking touch me right now?
She never has.
Oh, wow.
She never has.
Wow.
Oh, actually,
Oh, wait.
she's never said that.
Yeah.
But there's been moments where I would approach her and she would step back.
Nah, don't touch me.
She would
Don't come near me.
Yeah, she wouldn't say that, but she would like,
physically move that way.
she would move out
yeah,
the way.
Yeah, body language.
and then that makes me more frustrated.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, it's trials, right?
Yeah.
Like eventually
You learn.
we stop doing that now.
Yeah.
I have said,
Yeah.
don't fucking touch me. I am guilty for that.
Oh, shit.
And it was only one time, and I never did anything, but it was just just full transparency. I was so heated. I
Yeah.
don't remember why, but you know what? At that point, and this is what makes her so amazing.
Yeah.
Even though she was fearful, she still came and still just held me for
Yeah, wow.
and it just I could feel my heart rate slow down, and I would just chill out. So
Wow, that's cute.
understanding your partner and how each other, how you respond with each other and communicate is super, super important.
I agree. I think communication is super important. And
Huge.
Something you just mentioned just then is like you were super heated. You remember the moment that you're heated, but you don't actually remember what it's about. So you know what's
Oh, man.
crazy
Yeah.
is sometimes we get so emotional about things, and like 6 months, 12 months down the line, you don't even know what it was about anymore.
Yeah.
So like you could really say or do something in that moment that hurts your partner, damages the relationship. But in 6 to 12 months, it actually doesn't even matter. You won't even remember it. So I think a lot of
100%.
people need to really control that emotion. And as men, right? As men, I think it's our responsibility to control that. Women are a lot more emotional. And if we're needing our woman to baby us emotionally, then we're pretty much fucked from the get-go. So we, as men, I think it's
We need to
really,
be leaders,
really important for us to lead and really important for us to manage our expectations, our emotions, and
100%.
control all of that, be mature about it. And I think that's the difference between boys and men. Boys are always going to chuck that tantrum, always going to get upset.
Point the finger, put the responsibility on
correct.
someone else, right?
To be a man, you really need to take that responsibility and
Take
really absorb
ownership.
that and be like, hey, yeah, I'm hurting right now. Yeah, what you're saying or doing is hurting me emotionally. But at the same time, I know that if I lash out at you, it's only going to be worse. And I'm actually doing myself a disservice.
100%, because it affects the way she looks at you,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
If you pass on the responsibility, the decisions on her, what's your role?
Yeah.
You're meant to be the provider. You're meant to be the one that grounds emotions.
Mm.
Of course, you need to be able to create a safe space, and I believe that women are there to create that nurturing environment for you to be able to speak about how you feel. Otherwise, you just implode. And as men, we handle so much stress and pressure. I want to come home to an environment where I feel nurtured and taken care of.
Yeah.
And I know when I don't get that, I feel less.
You're tense, right? You feel
I
less
feel
loved,
tense. Yeah, I
feel tense.
It feels like my work and sacrifices are not worthwhile.
I agree.
And that's when there's that disconnect happens within our relationship.
And that's when you get like, you just snap at each other. And
Yeah.
I've been there too, so I kind of exactly get
And
what you
roles
mean.
and the same applies when the roles are reversed, because if she feels like you're not leading, you're not providing, she doesn't feel safe or protected by you, she distances herself.
Yeah.
So it's this constant dance. And I think there's, like, men and women, they're equally as important, but there's different roles and responsibilities.
I agree.
Right? In order to create a balanced relationship, one must do their part.
Yeah.
And that can look different for everyone.
Correct.
You know?
It is hard, especially if you're a business owner. I feel like if you're a, typical page E, you're doing a 9 to 5 and, you go to work, you come home, you can kind of give yourself a little reset moment to kind of come home and do what you need to do. But for us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, what's really incredibly difficult that people don't talk about enough is the sacrifices that we make daily. We're in the trenches daily. And oftentimes when we work, it's not 9 to 5, it's literally 9 to 9 or even 24 hours a day. Exactly. Yeah. And always we're geared. Like, I can feel my phone buzzing in my pocket right now. I'm like, do I need to check? Is something going wrong? It could be good. It could be Shopify, ka-chings. It could be different, Or it could be like, hey bro, this is fucked. I need your help. Yeah. It could be any of those things. And I think that's the business owner like dilemma, is always, how do you kind of control the emotions? And it's really crazy.
I think it's practice, right?
Yeah, 100% has to
be. Man,
stressful times.
The amount of times I would check my phone and I'd get a chargeback of 10,000 Australian dollars.
Bro.
10,000 G's. Just for context, I think about, and I said this to you off camera. Yesterday I just lost 10K.
Yeah.
The month before I lost 40K.
Yeah.
And I can say it now, like, it is what it is. At the first couple times it happened, it really hurt.
Of course.
It was super stressful.
A third of your revenue, a quarter of your revenue, half of your revenue just gone like that.
I have people to pay.
Yeah.
And I just want to put this out there, like, Stripe.
Yeah.
Calling you out. Stripe.
So PayPal's the same, all right?
Stripe essentially, processed their payment, and then they restricted my account, and it's 40 grand, 40,000 showing. And they don't even refund it to the customers. So that money stays with Stripe.
Yeah.
So the customers don't get their money. I don't get my money. But I like to keep my promises, and I don't just let go of those customers. I said, it's going to cost me a lot to provide the resources to fulfill them.
Yep.
But as a business owner, that's my responsibility.
Yep.
As a leader, that's my responsibility. Because if I just kick them out, what does that say about me, my brand, and my priorities?
You care more about your money than the people.
Exactly. And maybe at one point I did, but definitely not these days. What brings me joy and fulfillment is seeing my people in my program evolve and seeing my team grow.
Yeah.
Seeing the way they think differently, the way they mature, the way their confidence establishes. Like, to me, that's when, like, that was fucking worth it.
Yeah.
That's worth it. Money will come and go. And if you have that broke mentality, you're just going to create a broke environment.
I agree. That's very powerful stuff.
Law of attraction, right?
Yeah, very, very powerful stuff. Yeah, because, business is never easy. I think from the outside, a lot of people go, wow, you guys are making so much money, you're doing so well. But on the inside, it's actually very, very different. Revenue also doesn't mean profit. But at the same time, for a lot of people, it sounds cool, right? Yeah, I did a 200K month or whatever. Great. But 200K month, I have staff, I have commissions to pay, I've got to fulfill, I've got to do all of that, right? You won't keep all 200K. You still keep a lot because you're a service-based business and coaching, which is great. But I think a lot of people don't see, the hidden sides of business that are incredibly difficult, like taking work home or psychological trauma, or, I remember seeing your story of you guys. It wasn't a honeymoon, right? You guys were on a trip and you were in Bali or something, and you were like just having a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember you posting that up a couple months back. It's stuff like that. It's, as an entrepreneur, people always think of us, they're like, oh, you're making so much money, you're rich. You're rich. It's as if we're not human anymore, right? We're just business owners, whatever.
It's so funny, man. Like,
which is fucked, but
I don't even feel rich.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It doesn't matter how much we make.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter, because I don't like to spend too much. I could probably buy a nice watch and do whatever I want, but I don't think it's necessary for me. What I value most right now is connection and presence.
Yeah, correct.
Being able to cherish the times with my family. And I think just to spread the message out there. Like a lot of the guys that I work with, a very common problem they have is actually energy.
Yeah.
You know, they're spending their money on fast food, cars, clothes, all these materialistic items, and they never invest into themselves, which then makes it more difficult for them to enjoy those items and experiences.
Yeah.
You're paying thousands of dollars for vacation, and you're too insecure to take your shirt off.
Yeah.
You know, you're paying $1,000 for these clothes, and they don't fit you well. You're paying thousands of dollars on branded clothing. You can't even, or like you have a $200,000 car.
Yeah.
You can't even get out of it.
Oh, bro.
You know, like if you have a $200,000 car but you're a 10,000 looking man, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, you don't show up in meetings with your car. You're not like, hey boss, look at my car.
Yeah.
That what follows you around is how you look and how you present yourself. That's more important. But people still think it's far more important to
have the material.
It's
because the material is easy, right? Because you can only spend money to get the material, but to get the body is to spend time. I think a lot of people don't see the value there. I mean,
they don't see the connection.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny? Now that you mentioned that, like I remember there's like a TikTok. There's a TikTok account which just films the billionaires and millionaires of Monaco. Yeah. It's so funny because you just see these like Lambos, Ferraris, Bugattis rock up, and you get like guys like rolling out of the seat to give the keys to the chauffeur because they can't get out, and they're like huge, they're fat, they're like 150 kilos. Like,
I actually wanted to film an ad.
Getting
out my Supra and I have a fat suit.
Yeah.
I think so many people can relate. And this is not to poke fun, but this is for me to just like make you realize.
Yeah.
Like, dude, your priorities are just in the wrong place. You don't have a money problem.
Yeah.
You have a mindset problem.
I agree. So many people have money, right? Yeah. Like they have a lot of money, or so many people are focused on the money. They forget that their health is more important than that. You know, I've definitely been in that stage. I think I'm in that stage now. I'm in the heaviest position I've ever been in my life. I'm like the most fat and ugly in position in that, like right now. And I'm not afraid to admit that because I'm very aware of where I am. So for me, it's kind of like, how do I develop, like you said, how do I develop the guidelines based on my lifestyle? I work 16 to 18 hour days. Where can I find time to go to the gym? It's very difficult if I need more energy so I can continue working and doing what I need to do.
That's the thing, right? That's a very common problem. A lot of people think they don't have time, but they have an energy problem.
Yeah.
Because if you had more energy, you'd have more time.
Correct.
Right? Well, if you ate well, you fed your body the right foods, what happens to your energy?
Correct. It goes
up. When 100%. You have more energy, you have more time. You have more time to go to the gym. And then what happens when you compound that?
Yep.
You even have more energy.
Correct.
So what happens to your time? It goes up more.
It goes up.
And then your productivity also increases. So you get more leverage with your time.
Correct.
Right?
So you just got to be smart, man. Like for me, it's like I'm lucky enough that I have the education and knowledge behind what I need to eat, all of that sort of stuff. So for me, it's now about finding protocols and guidelines for how I can actually squeeze in and work out, fix up my diet. How can I make things easier? I'm time poor. So do I jump on now calorie controlled meal preps that are fresh? Do I do this? Do I do that? Like try to find all these different hacks and tricks you can.
Exercise, you probably don't even need to do that at all. Like if you shed, 10 kilos, you'd feel a lot sharper. You'd 100%. Be a lot more productive. And that just comes down to food. You can use meal prep services if you'd like.
Correct.
You can use takeout if you'd like. There's so many different ways on whatever's most convenient for you.
Yeah.
Right? But just starting with nutrition alone creates so much more energy, which unlocks more time. And then you can progress as you go. But just understanding exactly like you said, if you have the knowledge and experience to understand how much to eat, what to eat, when to eat.
Correct.
That will unlock more energy.
100%. I think people don't realize how simple it can be, right? So to give someone an example of my schedule, every morning I wake up at 9, thankfully, I'm very grateful that I can wake up at 9. I wake up at 9, I'm in the office at 10, and I work all the way till midnight. Then I get home, wind down. I'll probably be in bed by 2 or 3 a.m. and then back at 9. So I'll still get my 6 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep. Not the most ideal, but it works for me. I have full energy. My team always asks me how I still have so much energy every day. But that's because for the previous 30 years of my life, I've always been supplements, exercise, diet, all super important. So I have a very strong foundation. It's just that in this season of my life, I'm not in the best shape. I'm not in the best sort of, and it happens. But for me, if you really want to be in your best form or shape in your life, you have to really take note of everything. So now it's like, okay, cool. If I'm going to get back onto the diet train, then what can I do? I can't cook because I don't have the time. I can't go grocery shopping because I don't have the time. Like if I'm literally at the office 10 a.m. to midnight, what time do I really have? I don't have it. So, well, how do you save time? You got to spend money, right? So I'll pay for a personal chef, or I'll pay for, like meal preps or something. At least that way, I can have my calorie controlled, my nutrition controlled. I'll get my supplements. I'll do my multis. I'll do my fish oils, whatever I'm missing. Easy. Now it's the exercise piece. How do I do that? So I'm actually going to use our complex here, and I'm going to set up a HIIT circuit for myself, 1 hour a day after work.
Just
every
movement,
day.
even just
movement.
walking. Yeah,
100%.
any movement makes a huge difference.
Huge.
And I think that's what a lot of people need to realize is you just need to audit your life and fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Right? There's many ways. Obviously not, there's so many ways. Like if you're running a business especially, like I have someone that cooks food for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time to cook food. And I don't like meal prep services because I'm not 100% certain about what's inside it.
100%.
But you can definitely use it.
100%.
Right? It's just about what lever can you pull to maximize your ROI in terms of time. Right? And you need to stop thinking about saving money.
Yeah.
Like so many people are like, let me save money instead of like, how can I use money to create more opportunities?
Correct.
Money is just a tool. It's just another form of energy for people to do bigger and greater things at a faster rate.
100%. I agree. That's why for me now as well, even when I look at home, it's like, fuck, sometimes I get home late. I don't want to do the laundry.
Yeah.
It's got all of that. So what does it look like to hire a maid? What does it look like to hire a cleaner, to clean, to do this for me? Why do I want to do that? For a lot of people, they go, fuck, you're just wasting money, you're spending money. But no, I'm investing that money to get my time back so I can do better things, invest my time to create better results, make even more money, help more people.
And that's a mindset a lot of people need to change.
Correct.
It's about investing. You are investing money as a form of energy to create more time, which then creates more value.
That's why all these rich people say you have to let money go to have money come back in. Right? And I think there's a reason for that. And coming from an Asian background, it's very hard. We don't let money go. Like, fuck it. If there's $2 on the floor, I'm running over and I'm picking that up.
Yeah,
like,
I used to be like that too.
Exactly.
But then I got rewarded for actually spending money.
Correct.
I got rewarded for losing a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
You
What's
know?
been the biggest loss? Touching on that point, what's been the biggest loss for you in business?
Oh, man. I don't even know. I think that 50K was a fair bit. But I mean, all compounded. I've had coaches and mentors who've scammed me 20, 30 grand. Like, it's just part of the process. And it was the same thing. I thought to myself, well, if it took me 3 coaches to get a good coach, it's going to take me 3 or 4 mentors to get a good mentor. Yeah. Right. And then I could stop there and be like, oh, I've been burnt in the past. Yeah. But kind of like when you're dating someone, you don't just date one girl and not date forever. Yeah. You keep dating until you find your wife.
That's true.
Right. And I think a lot of people live in that fear of like, what if it doesn't work out? Well, it won't. Yeah. It won't work out the first time.
100%.
You know? And you just have to normalize failure, and failure is just part of the process. Yeah. But I mean, in my head, like from my way of thinking, you don't actually fail if you keep trying. It's just lessons. You fail when you stop trying. You fail when you stop failing. Because then you stay stuck.
Powerful. Very powerful stuff. What was it like? How do you go and approach that psychology, right? 50K is not a little bit of money. How did you, what was it like for you? Did you go for a mental breakdown? Like, how did you approach it? I think now, yes. now it's very different to probably when you first started the business too, right? Maybe losing a couple $1,000s, client doesn't pay, yada, yada, yada. When you first started a business, that hurts, but now it's different. You're playing with a different zero at the end of it. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you've lost 50K. What was the psychology behind that? Like, how did you approach that?
I love that
sort of issue.
I'm a very analytical guy, right? If there's a problem, there's a solution. The reason I lost 50,000 just highlighted the fact that I have a payment processor issue. So what I do, fix the payment processor issue, so that doesn't happen again. Yeah. Now, my dumb ass, this has been repeated. This has been a repetitive issue because I'm like, I just kept gambling. Like, let me try again.
Yeah, one more time. One more time.
Like, she'll be okay. Yeah. And then it just doesn't work out. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. Let's actually pivot. So these problems are just opportunities to learn. Kind of going back to, my ex. Yeah. Right? It's like I could sit here, play victim, blame her, or, hey, what could I have done differently? Yeah, right. So I'm like, okay, solution, payment processor. Very expensive lesson, but...
It is. That's what I was going to say. Very expensive lesson.
In life, you always pay either with your health, your time, your happiness, your opportunities, money. You just decide what you want to pay.
There's always a price.
There's always a price. Yeah. If I had let's say, I don't know, just an extreme example. If I had a mentor and he's like, only use this processor. Yeah. And he charged me 20K. Well, that would have saved me 50, 100. What's the cost of true inaction right now? Oofed. And I think a lot of people don't pay attention to that enough. It's like, what does saying no or not taking action or making a decision right now, what's that costing you in the future? Wow. Right? And not just financially, but like emotionally, opportunities. And I say this to my guys all the time. Like, if you're not getting in shape now, They say, I'll do it later, I'll save up for it, right? Well, 6 months down the road, maybe a job opportunity would have come up, increased salary, increased promotion.
Yeah.
But because of the way you look, the way your productivity levels are so low, you're so slow, you don't get it. Somebody else does. Dude, you just lost a $100,000 opportunity.
Correct.
And people don't see that.
Wow. What was the saying? Price is what you pay, cost is what you...
Oh, I forgot. That's a good saying.
one. Yeah. So I
Price
think
is
it's price is what you pay, cost is what you get, or cost is what you lose. Or some shit like that.
Something like that.
Someone can quote me. Someone can quote me better. Yeah. Someone drop it in the comments, please. Don't make me look weird.
But that is a saying.
Yeah, there is a saying like that. I'm pretty sure it's something along those lines. But yeah, someone can correct me on that. But yeah, it's really hard, man. Like, because 50K is a lot of money, and
it is.
You know, it's a house deposit, or kind of first home buyer's deposit.
I wish I had that.
I know, literally, right? And extra 50K wouldn't hurt anyone. Yeah.
It's like someone's salary almost.
Literally, pretty much. So how did you deal with that loss? Because from a psychological point of view, obviously I don't know your financial situation, but for a lot of people out there, 50K, even in a business, small business, would still be quite a big loss. Because you look at your accounts, you might have only 200K in surplus, 50K is like a quarter of that, whatever it was. How did it feel when you had to deal with that situation? I'm sure you would have been pissed off or angry or something. How did you manage that?
The first time, man, I was so stressed out. It felt like the end of the world. I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point of all this? I kept questioning, is this all worth it? Right? But I just kept reminding myself, it's just part of the process. It's just part of the game. You know, you're going to have ups and downs, similar to weight loss. You know, you're going to gain weight, lose weight. Things are going to happen. You just got to get back up, right? Because what's the alternative? I quit.
Yeah.
Things get worse.
And now you're at zero.
Now I'm at zero. You know, like, do I really want that as an alternative option? No. I just got to remind myself, you know what, man? What a blessing it is to be able to lose $50,000.
100%.
That's a sick opportunity.
Yeah.
Wow. You know?
Yeah, it fucking sucks, but...
Yeah. Dude, back then I couldn't even make $50,000.
Exactly.
So I'm like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, but like... I tell myself that to make myself feel better.
You just go to a richer friend and go, how much did you lose?
Yeah,
and
literally. That's a really, because like the circle that you're in really dictates how you look at the world.
Yeah.
I have a friend, he's like, yeah, I just lost 100K.
Yeah.
USD.
Yeah,
it's like 150,000 Australian. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, all right. My day's been all right. How's your day?
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always people out there doing it tough.
It's perspective. You know, I think it's 100%
It's all about
perspective.
man.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really limits people from growing.
Yeah.
The world is conditioned you to think and move and approach life a certain way. It limits you. You have been raised to think, especially Asians, to look at the world in a certain way. And then you wonder why you're stuck. If you do what other people do, you're going to become other average people.
Correct.
And there's nothing wrong with that if you want to be that.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, what's the average person?
Correct.
You know, they're unhappy, they're depressed, probably going through divorce, they're overweight.
Yeah.
Like, is that the life that you want to live?
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. I think perspective is definitely very, very powerful. A lot of people don't realize, you know, sometimes we can sit here and talk about numbers like, oh, you did 200K, I did 300K, I did 500K, you did 100K, whatever. To people, it's like
just zeros and zeros.
Yeah, it's just numbers in our head now because we've been there, done that, right? And it's like, to a lot of people, they might sit there and they go, holy fuck, these guys make so much money, you know. But it's not actually the way people think it is. It's just all perspective. Yeah. I also have a lot of friends and colleagues, you know, they make $500,000 a year at their jobs, you know, and they're surrounded by other executives doing $500,000, $1 million, $2 million bonuses. They make more than us working our asses off for our business and they work their jobs, you know, and they get $1 million bonuses, which would be great, right? But it's all perspective. You know, people sit here and they go, wow, fuck these guys. You know, they got money, they got the time, they got the privilege to do all of that. But we had nothing. We made a conscious decision to make a change in our life to be able to get to where we are today. And much like what you do with a lot of people in their lifestyle, it's a conscious decision to be able to get to a better health, better body, better psychology. You know, it's a massive choice.
It's priorities. It's perspective. You chose you for once. Yeah. You know, you got to choose and bet on yourself. And I think a lot of people are so fearful, especially Asians. We're so fearful in betting on ourselves because we were raised to think that we're not good enough or we can be better. Or, you know, your cousin Jimmy here is...
He's an astronaut. He's an astronaut and a doctor.
He's went to the moon. Yeah. You know, like,
what are you fucking doing at home?
A nurse? You know?
You're a Filipino nurse, huh? What's that?
Literally, right? It's just like, You're in this you're in our culture is constant comparison and belittling.
Correct.
And it diminishes our ability to think for ourselves and make decisions for ourselves. You're so worried about making your parents proud, looking after people, when inside you look in the mirror, you feel like shit and you hate who you are. Like, it is straight facts, man.
Yeah.
Like, in this world, we all die, and the person you have to live with for the rest of your life is yourself. I would much rather be happy for me than be happy for my mom.
Wow.
I love my mom. She's
Yeah.
the best, and I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
But if I listened to her, I would also not be where I am today. You know?
True.
Because the way she thinks is different. And sometimes she'll say, Lex, she calls me Lex. She's like,
Yeah.
Lex, go have fun with friends. Like, don't worry about value exchange and this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm like, but mom, that's my fun. I
Yeah.
like to exchange information and growth.
Yeah.
I don't like catching up with Johnny for coffee. Like, I don't care about how his
Footy's going.
Yeah, I don't.
this. Don't give a
Literally.
fuck.
Like, I don't care how his weekend was. It's
Yeah.
probably the same weekend for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I want to talk about growth. I want to talk about scalability, development. And these are the type of people you need to have in your corner.
Powerful. I think it's very important, and same thing for us as men, right? You work with a lot of men, and you talk a lot about confidence, and you talk a lot about, like, you know, developing as men as well, and being a good father and good husband too. I think those are very, very powerful. And in this society, in this generation, what I've noticed is men have gotten, like you said, a lot softer. Men are not really as manly per se as they used to be, and they're not in their sort of traditional male roles anymore. What's important to me, I think, that I've seen is, as men, we should really do our best to work on ourselves to be the best version of ourselves, to be able to provide, not just for our partners, but most importantly for ourselves. There was a really cool quote I saw the other day. Not a cool quote, but I'm going to quote a friend of mine. She was asked this question: what does it take to find a good partner? And I think you found a really good partner now.
I'm very lucky.
Most people say, you know, you take two halves to make a whole. But she actually said something is, don't take two halves. You become a whole, they become a whole. You take two full people to make two perfect people. And I was like, that's fucking powerful stuff.
Yes.
Because everyone says they're my better half. But why would you want just half a person? Why would you want a better half when you can have a better whole? So I think that's really cool. I thought that was really awesome. And I was just thinking about where I could share this with everyone, because I think it's really valuable here, because you and Michaela, obviously, you guys are two wholes.
Yeah, we are.
And I can see that. Like from a mile away, you're doing your thing, she's doing her thing, she's making multiple six figures, you're doing fantastic. You know, you guys have come together and leveraged off each other's assets and also others' like experience, knowledge, and perspectives, and taken space for each other emotionally as well, to now have two full people become a couple which can pretty much take on anything.
I'd love to share a bit of a journey on that, actually.
Yeah,
because
please.
when me and Michaela first met, I was very uncertain of myself. I lacked a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we didn't get together earlier was because she said, Alex, you're not assertive.
Yeah.
And that was a slap to my face, and that hurt. And
Did you feel like you were assertive, but did you feel like you were like, I'm an alpha male? Like,
I think I thought I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, maybe I was creating a facade.
Yeah.
But I noticed that, and that's what I love about her. She always brings out my flaws from a place where it's criticism and not attack. Anyways, I felt that, and I'm like, okay, I need to become more assertive, because she was in her masculine energy at the time. So in order for her to be in her feminine, I had to be in my true masculine for that energy to balance. But I like what you're saying, that it is just about, I don't even know where I was going with that, but I lost my train of thought. There's so many ideas popping in my head. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that for men and women to fulfill their roles, there needs to be that energy balance to occur. And everybody has, you know, her and myself, we have different attributes and traits that complement each other. That's only been able to be unlocked when I am confident with who I am and I'm able to make decisions for myself.
Yeah.
Because when I rely on her to make choices, she doesn't feel as confident within myself. Of course, I relay ideas, but she'll always say, Alex, at the end of the day, it's your call, it's your choice, whatever you think is good for our future and our future family, right?
Wow.
And I think that's important in a relationship, because they want to feel protected. But at the same time, as men, you also want your partner to feel like they believe and trust you, right? And they'll support you with no matter what happens. Because that self-confidence, I really think confidence has a huge unlock to life and reality.
I agree. I think that's very powerful. As men, like, it's our responsibility and our job to become the best and most confident version of ourselves, so that we can confidently lead and provide for our
You can't.
Our people.
You can't
Not
pour out of an
even
empty cup.
not even just our partner, but our people, our company, our staff, our parents, our siblings,
Yeah.
our friends. And as men, I think that's the hard part right now with this society is there is so much messaging about how everything should be equality, right? Like I believe in equality to some extent in the sense that, yeah, sure, equal pay, this and that, equal rights, whatever. I agree. But I don't think there should be equality in terms of like the gender roles, not in the sense that it should be like sexist or whatever, right? Because I know that we're going to say shit and we're going to get, people are going to try to cancel us for it and be controversial. But the reality is men should be in a position where they can be confident from a very fundamental point of view, be able to lead and be able to provide, whether it's financially, like whatever it is, emotionally, physically. Look, it's a hard place for a man in this world. Everything is against us, especially because of social media. It gears every man to want to be successful, and all these 16-year-olds driving Lambos in Dubai and shit like that makes it seem like we're all falling behind.
Yeah.
But the reality is, you need to be in a position where you've got to do your best to be your best, because it's such a competitive world. And it's really hard as a man to be that image of success right now. So you have to put in everything you can to be able to push physically, financially, emotionally, fucking logically, philosophically,
Everything.
You
need to provide.
You
need to be able to provide 3 fundamental pillars: emotional, physical, and financial. Right? And people that say finances are not that important, they don't make you happy, they do. Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it creates opportunity.
Correct.
Right? But without the other fundamentals of emotional stability and mental stability, you won't be able to develop financial stability. So in order to achieve those things, you need to be confident within who you are first and invest into yourself, because you cannot pour out of an empty cup.
If you were to look back to where you were like 10 years ago, what would you say are the biggest differences between you and that 17-year-old, 18-year-old Alex? Like what are the sort of big fundamental changes that you've kind of unlocked along the way?
Dude, it's really confidence. I stopped caring about what people think and what people say, and I just live life the way I want to live my life. If somebody doesn't align with my vision, my goals, I don't care. Respectfully, right? Like, I understand you're on your own path, and we don't have to be friends, or we don't have to coincide or in this world. But if I feel like we're just not on the same wavelength, or we're not both wanting to grow, we're just not for each other. Friends, business partners, clients, whatever, right? So the biggest unlock and the biggest difference would really just be knowing my self-worth, knowing my value, and respecting myself, and not allowing other people to disrespect me.
It's very powerful stuff. That's cool, man.
Because I wanted to add to that, the standards you set yourself, how do I say this? Like, if you allow people to walk over you, they will. So you need to hold yourself at a certain standard, and you need confidence in yourself and value within yourself to be able to see yourself at that standard. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. I think for us, it defaults to our level of standard for ourselves, right? Like, I mean, we can go through life being sloppy, or we can go through life with high standards, and you allow those standards to carry over into every aspect of your life, from relationship to even working career. Doesn't matter what you are. Even if you were out there and your job is to clean toilets, clean the toilet the best you fucking can. Make sure it's clean enough to eat.
And be confident about it.
Be fucking confident. When someone asks you, how do you clean a toilet? Bang, you know how to clean a toilet.
I did a good job.
Yeah, fuck off. This was
best
mine.
cleaner.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's something that a lot of people lack. They go through life just like zombies. They're kind of just wobbling and
they do the bare minimum, man.
Correct.
The bare minimum.
And it's what do you do when no one's watching that makes the man.
Most.
Yeah, exactly. That makes the man 100%. who they are. And we talk about men a lot here because I think we're both men, and it relates to us.
We're getting old.
I know, I literally are. But as we get older, there's more for us to ponder, because next step for you is being a father.
Yeah.
And being a father is another challenge. You've got another 18 years of raising something from the ground, not just a business anymore, but you've now got to raise something like a tiny little thing, a human being, and to also try not to make mistakes, which turns them into a fucking horrible human being. So, at least you've got opportunities now. At least you've got opportunities to create for them, at least you've got lessons to pass on and
But I'm
teach them.
excited,
Yeah?
I'm excited because I look at it as a mentee,
Yeah.
right?
And that you can mold from the
I
very
can
beginning.
mold them from the ground up to give them the education, knowledge, and perspectives that I never had.
Yeah.
Me and Michaela were actually talking. We'd probably homeschool them
Yeah.
for a while.
Well, I
She
think
was
most of
homeschooled.
us want to nowadays because
Yeah.
like the schooling system is just so cooked, so
It's
fucked
outdated,
up.
man. It's
Yeah.
outdated.
Well, I mean, just the way they like approach all the gender issue.
Oh yeah, I
like,
heard about that.
It's all fucked,
Yeah,
man.
I
Like
heard about that.
gender issue, about like the way they're educating students, about the way they teach them
Priorities.
stuff. The
The
priorities
focus is
are
on the
wrong,
wrong
man.
things,
It's
man.
wrong, man. It's
And I
not
feel
right.
like schooling never really gave me the advantage that I needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think schooling really is effective in developing social skills, and learning.
Did the opposite for me.
Oh yeah. That's because I was bullied as well. But you know what? I'm actually grateful that I was bullied because
That's what I was gonna say. I'm
you know,
glad for the lack of social skills. it
correct.
gave me.
Correct. You know, it gave me the opportunity to see and identify who are good and bad people in this world.
Yeah.
And I think I'm grateful for that. Although, like, yeah, it should develop your social skills, sporting skills, all of that. I think there's still a place for schooling in that sense that it allows you to open the doors to opportunity for competition,
Yes.
for all of that. And I'd want
Teaches you different lessons.
yeah, I'd want my kid to be highly competitive because you know I don't want them to have the pressure of saying like the invisible pressure that I provide as a parent. But I'd want my child to be competitive in their own means. Like they want to be the best. They have high standards.
Internal desire.
100%. I want them
Yeah.
to have high standards. You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's very important in this day and age.
100%. And like, I feel like we can do a better job teaching them, right? Teaching
agree.
them, showing them,
Yeah.
educating them, explaining the whys and the hows. It's just, again, it's just like another project. I always joke with Michaela. I'm like, once we have kids, it's like another business, another project,
100%.
that you can. And I'm excited because I'm like, wow, I wonder what I can teach this child and how they would become in the future.
Yeah.
But within the means of making sure that I don't redo the trauma my parents have made. Not that they intended for that, but they don't know better, and we won't know better. Who knows? This could be a completely terrible approach.
True.
And they,
And we'll get parents commenting, you should never raise your kids in a box. Like, you should never
Yeah.
force your values onto them.
yeah. But I would like to educate them and show them what life could be,
Yeah.
and be at a standard where they look at me and they're like, wow, that's my dad. Wow, that's my mom.
100%.
I want to be the cool dad that rolls up in like a nice
car.
blacked out SUV, and
The G-Wagon.
I look. It's not even about the price, but I just look put together. I look fit. I look healthy.
Yeah.
You stand out,
Yeah.
and then all the other kids and all the other parents are like, oh, it's a Mendoza's.
Yeah,
It's like it's
That's
so
cool.
cool, right? If we're to school them, but I want to have that reputation because it shows respect and self-respect, and that influences how other people treat and perceive you.
Yeah.
Which I know people say it doesn't really matter what other people think, but it does, because it creates opportunity. Right? If you think someone is at a high caliber level, you're going to give him high caliber opportunities. If you look at someone and thinks he's a sloppy person, you're not going to give him the same opportunities.
I agree.
It's just facts.
I agree. What would you say, like, the difference between what your parents did to raise you? Would you say you had a good upbringing with your parents?
I would say my parents tried to give me the best upbringing they can.
That could, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they like incite much trauma into you as a parent?
Not intentionally.
Of course. I don't think it's ever
I think
intentional.
my mom and dad now are so amazing,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad to have been able to break traditional Asian stereotypes with them.
Yeah.
We can talk about how I feel.
Yeah.
We can talk about certain things and look at the world, have adult-to-adult conversations. But I think it was also a byproduct of me being self-aware and being confident with who I am to have these conversations with my parents.
Yeah.
But my dad not being around, that definitely took a bit of a toll.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I grew up without a father figure, but he was never really home, so I had to teach myself how to do everything.
Yeah, right.
Right. And then my mom was also busy with work. I grew up with my grandma, and I was just always taught to figure things out on my own, which has pros and cons. I see that trauma affect my relationship because when I don't get the support I want from Michaela, I close everyone out, and I'm like, I'm going to figure shit out on myself, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes.
Yeah.
So you just need to be able to identify when these traumas come up so you know how to navigate it and communicate it.
Yeah. I can see that you have quite a high awareness when it comes down to this sort of area. So what plans, because obviously kids are next, like we mentioned, but what do you have in plan there? Like what kind of parent do you want to be?
It's funny. Me and Michaela were joking about it the other day.
Yeah.
Because we're like, you know how speaking about trauma,
Yeah.
we clearly understand how trauma has affected us, right? And
Yeah.
as children, you want to experiment, you want to do things. For example, we said if our kid wants to sleep up and they want to listen, they want to stay up and they
Yeah.
don't want to listen to us, we'll force them to stay awake for the next 48 hours and instill trauma so that they associate bad feelings to staying awake.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to stay up? All right, go
I
for
will
it.
stay up with
But
you for the next 48
2
hours.
days. Yeah, next 2
you want to
days.
drink alcohol? You're only allowed to drink alcohol.
Yeah. If you want to drink alcohol, here's the whole bottle.
Yeah.
Drink
2
the whole
days.
thing.
That's the only thing you can drink. No, just joking. Maybe not to the extreme, but like, why not use trauma as a tool or mechanism?
Yeah, to help them.
Yeah, to help them. Not from a abusive way, but it's just, I'm not sure if we'll implement that training method.
That's just a funny joke.
It's just a thought. Maybe we'll split test it with
Yeah,
different
100%.
kids.
100%. I reckon I would too.
I'll split test it with A and B.
Yeah. So I think it'd be really interesting. It's really interesting to hear how, business owners want to raise their kids compared to, for example, like other parents, right? Business owners and entrepreneurs, they really want to raise their kids kind of very like tactically, like a business.
Methodologically,
Yeah, which is really interesting. Okay, so I mean, we're running up towards the end of our show today anyway, but talk to me more about like evolution, right? What's it like? What do people get out of it? Run me through. Where do people find you as well on socials before we run off to the last question that I have for you today?
Yeah.
But run us through the coaching program. What is that?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, I mean, there's different steps to it, right? Typically, if you guys have questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I'm always more than happy to give advice or point you towards the right direction. If you want to hop on a call to do an audit, we do that as well. And then from there, we'll kind of come up with a bit of a brief strategy or game plan. Yeah. If you do want to decide to implement that with us, awesome. We can talk about what that might look like for you and what level of service might be most advantageous for you. And then from there, we begin the onboarding process. We pair you with a coach who all our coaches are Asian as well. So having that cultural understanding. But ultimately, like the end goal that I want to provide for my clients, my people, whatever you want to call them, is perspective and philosophy, and recreating the experiences I've developed that has allowed me to think differently. Yeah. Right. I want the program has been cultivated in a way where I almost take you through my life experience that has allowed me to, I don't even like saying become,
who you are today.
Become who I am today and become more successful than who I was.
Yeah.
Because I would not be where I am if I didn't develop that way of thinking. So I tried to create that experience where it kind of simulates the similar thought process or thinkings and challenges. Because my end goal for you is to become a higher level thinker, right? Powerful. And as I'm explaining that to you, nobody has really asked me that question. I'm like, wow, that's a really good way to put it. I've packaged my life story in a service to help you move and think differently.
Yeah, right. Powerful stuff. Well, so is this a 4-week program, 8-week program, 12-week? How does it work? Are they with you monthly? How does
I usually like to take on guys for 6 to 12 months, right?
6 to 12 months, wow.
Because again, like physical change, you can go to every Joe Mo, whatever you want to call it, right? To get a physical result. Yeah. But I'm trying to create an experience and a change mentally. And, you can't undo 10 years of bad habits in 3 months.
True.
Right? I want something you can keep forever. I want to give you the education, the frameworks, the systems, the mental systems, so that you can not only learn this yourself, change the way you think, but create opportunities and transfer that knowledge and perspective to the people around you. Yeah, wow. Because that is invaluable. That will make you so much money and so much opportunity.
I agree. It's very powerful stuff. I think there's a very big difference between a lifelong psychological, philosophical change versus a short-term physical change. I mean, like, as a personal trainer, how often do you get people that come, they lose weight, and then
they get it back?
They get it back. Why? Because their philosophies, their psychology, their tactics, and systems that they have created for themselves aren't working.
No.
So it's very, very powerful to have a all-inclusive program. And for all of those guys who may potentially want to work with Alex and his team, if you are a viewer of the show, you can actually get $650 off, right, for your next program. $650, a lot of money. So if you save that, maybe you can get some meal preps as well on the side to help you with it. But yeah, $650 off.
Cheeky glow.
Yeah, with some cheeky glow, we'll give you some exfoliation, get some good skin, nice soft Asian skin. But yeah, if you want to get $650 off the program, just mention 0.01 to Alex and his team. when you do decide to sign up or go through the audit or whatever it is, the process that you want to. We'll drop the links, the show notes as well.
And there's no pressure. I mean, I'm always happy to help. If you guys have questions, just reach out. We can hop on a quick call, point you towards the right direction. I don't like high pressure sales.
Yeah.
Like with the people that I work with, I'm a lot more selective now. Like I want you to want to change.
How are you going to change if you don't want it yourself?
Man,
I
don't want. I'm tired of helping. I'm tired of wanting to save people's lives more than they want to save themselves. Ooh. I'm exhausted of that because I can't. I can show you what you need to do, but you need to do it.
Yeah. It's hard being a Captain Save-A-Ho.
Yeah. A what?
A Captain Save-A-Ho.
What's that?
You know the guys that are out there that are always like, you know, trying to be the hero for the girls. So that, you know, it's like this girl's for the streets, but he's the hero. I'm Captain Save-A-Ho.
I'm going to change your life.
I'm going to change your life, give you everything. And then these people just don't ever want it, right? It's so many, like it just happens. And so you can't change anyone that doesn't want change themselves.
You need to want it.
You have to want it.
Usually what I've noticed, the people who want it have typically experienced some form of trauma or pain.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
And they're aware of it. That's the most important
which
thing.
creates the experience better for our team as well, because we can really relate with you. Like I want this experience not to just be enjoyable for the client, but for my team too.
Yeah.
Because
having shit clients hurts as well, man, bro.
Energy is such an important currency, because if my coaches are not happy, the clients are not happy, I'm not happy.
And the work is not as good.
And then the work is not as good.
No good.
Exactly.
No good. So if you want to take action, just message Alex off the back of this podcast now, like ASAP. Just do it. So yeah, don't wait. I think that's what kills a lot of dreams and aspirations is waiting. You know, that I'll do it next week. I'll do it this. To be honest, life is fucking busy, bro. And whether you work a job, whether you're a business owner, whether you're this and that, doesn't matter. Life is fucking busy. If you say you're going to wait, if you say you're going to hesitate, you're probably going to forget about it. You know, there were so many questions that I wanted to ask you today. There are so many things that you're thinking of that you wanted to say, that because we waited, because we're listening to each other talk, it's gone. And then when it comes back, it doesn't make sense anymore. So
it's not something you can ever get back.
100%. So
I was going to say, like, you know, goals are just dreams without action.
Yeah.
You can keep dreaming. You can keep saying you're going to do it. But unless you do it, it's never going to become reality.
100%.
And I think a lot of people are too fearful to take the first step. But, like, would you rather continue to live the next 10 years of your life feeling the way you do, or have that slight discomfort of pulling the trigger and change?
100%.
Like, what's worse, man?
Yeah. That's powerful stuff, man.
That's a good way to end it, I think.
It is very, very powerful. So where do people find you?
You can check out the Instagram at The Mendoza.
The Mendoza.
Yeah.
The dot Mendoza, right?
The dot Mendoza.
Yeah, the dot Mendoza.
I think that's the only platform that I really use now.
Yeah,
TikTok's kind of dead.
Yeah. Not on it as much. Yeah. And okay, so this is my final question for us to end it off on today.
Oh, yes.
I ask every single guest this one, which is, you know, life is all about finding the cheat codes. To me, life is like a game, right? And in every game, there's cheat codes for you to get to the next level, or, you know, whatever it is, you find a secret pathway that accelerates your success. And people say there are usually no cheat codes to life, right? But there's no easy way to shortcut life. But I think there are certain principles, certain psychological hacks, certain sort of philosophies and maybe tactics and strategies that people find in their journey of success that allows them to, if they were to start again, to get there a lot faster. So let's just say, from all the experience that you've learned over the last couple of years building a business, you've got into the 7 figures now, you've got into the multiple 6-figure months, right? Like, what would you say if there was one cheat code to help young Mendoza, 18-year-old Mendoza, instead of getting to where he is now 10 years later, how can young Mendoza start to put himself on the right track so that he can also accomplish what he has accomplished today, but in half the time or a quarter of the time?
I love that question. Stop being cheap.
Stop being cheap.
Stop being fucking cheap.
Oofed.
Because I saved up money and I don't know what the fuck I was saving up for.
Wow.
You know? And if I just leverage that money to buy speed and time, I'd be a lot further ahead.
Wow.
So stop being cheap. Invest into yourself. It's scary at first. You're going to fail. You're going to find bad mentors. You're going to probably burn some cash. It's okay. It's just part of the process. Yeah, wow. Stop being cheap.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
I think just being Asian and growing up with that
It's that
mentality.
psychology. It's like
Yeah.
we're a very scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Like our parents were literal survivors. They
Yeah.
whether they were like fleeing a country, they're immigrants or whatever it is. Like
Paying for electricity bills.
that survival mentality is
You had to break it.
Yeah, you have to break.
Yeah.
You have to 100% break it. That first time you invest $1,000 hurts.
Yeah.
Even $100 it'll hurt. Then 1,000. Then it becomes
Then
5.
50,000.
Then 10. Then
Yeah.
20. Then 30. Then 40.
I
Then
just
50.
spent 50K on a mentor.
Wow,
Yeah.
crazy.
And that was the most I've spent on a mentor so far.
That's a lot.
Before it was like 10K increments. Now I lose 10K. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, 10K is whatever now, right? Like you're at the
Yeah.
next level now. It's
Yeah.
50, and then that still
Just add a
hurts.
zero. It still hurts. And those 10K still hurts.
Oh yeah, of
But
course.
I just have to break the mentality.
But they're like scabs now, you know. You just get over it.
Because it's just different levels. Life is about levels.
100%.
You know, and this is not to discredit finances for other people who are obviously not at this level.
Yeah.
Like I had $1,000 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you said you were
100%.
like eating out of rubbishes at one point.
Yeah, correct. So we
Yeah.
had when we were
Just for
when we were young,
context.
just for context for
Yeah.
people who haven't heard the story. Like, you know, we were in a position where we were so broke that we were scavenging for scraps
Yeah.
out of bins.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was yeah, I mean, like it's just life has levels, like you said, and we try to progress, and that's the whole thing, right? Like if you sit here and you hear stories like this and you go, "Fuck these rich people,"
Yeah. We were
then
never rich.
you're never going to get to that next level. You have to aspire to see that, wow, people around me in my local vicinity are able to do it. What's stopping me from doing it? And I think that's what separates that you know the value from the crowd. So
Because like
man.
rich is such a subjective term.
100%.
We're broke.
We're broke as fuck, bro.
We're so broke compared to like the people that I know.
Man, I see people go out. Like, think about the guys that go to Ivy on the weekend and drop 40 grand on bottles. I could never imagine myself
can't do
doing that.
that.
Think about
But
fuck
sometimes
that.
those guys also are not that rich.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sometimes it's a poor financial
They're
decision.
just like poor priorities.
Yeah, correct.
But like we have business owner friends who make 7-figure months.
100%.
And
Like
I'm
$1 million a month is
yeah.
normal.
I
Like,
got rejected from a mentorship course because I wasn't
you're
making enough.
too little.
I was too little of a fish. That hurt.
100%.
But there's levels to the game, and
Like,
we're just a couple chapters ahead.
Yeah.
Or for the other people watching, we're just many chapters behind.
Yes, correct.
You
There'll be
know?
people that look at us and go, wow, you're
And
nothing.
there's gonna be people we can sit here, Alan,
Yeah.
and feel like, oh, who are we to talk, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's bigger fish.
Correct.
That's exactly what limits potential growth because you don't
100%.
believe in yourself enough.
100%. Well, we have the confidence to share our knowledge and experience based
And
on
where
what
we're
we
at.
have. Correct.
Exactly.
I'm not sitting here going, "Ooh, I'm gonna have that, imposter syndrome," and go,
Yeah.
"I'm not rich as successful as I want to be." I know that already. You don't
Yeah.
need to fucking tell me.
You don't need to
I already
remind me.
know, bro. I look in the mirror every day and I go, "Fuck, Alan, you're not good enough. You're not big
You're
enough
broke.
yet. Yeah, you're fucking poor. You gotta work harder."
Yeah.
Whereas I'm also on the other side of the mirror. If I turn around, I can also sit there and go, "Wow, in the last 5 years, you've built
Exactly.
a multi-million-dollar business.
Yes.
You've done well. You've done that multiple times. You know what you're talking
You
about."
need to have that balance of calling yourself not good enough when it serves you.
Yep.
But when it doesn't serve you, take a step back.
100%, and have gratitude for how far you've
Yeah.
come, but also don't
Never
get
be
complacent. 100%. We just fucking synced up there, but never be complacent because the future is still to come.
Yeah.
So
Complacency
yeah, man.
kills ambition.
100%.
And I have to be careful because recently I'm like, oh, life's great. I don't need to buy any more things.
But
This
that's the
money
thing.
doesn't
We get
change
caught.
my life anymore.
We get caught. I remember that time when you wanted to look at a new car, right? And like, I know we've gone past the last question already, but like,
Keep
it just,
talking,
it
yeah.
just keeps coming up. But like, I remember that time when you wanted to buy a car. You're like, I don't know if I should buy it. I'm like, bro, how much money do you fucking make? Stop being a bitch. Just go buy the fucking car. And then you bought the car, and then you essentially went, I got signed up a new client from the guy who sold me the car. And I was like, bro, this it fucking worked out. You just had to step in and do it. You're like, I don't know if I should spend 100K on a car. I'm like, fucking do it, bro. Just do it.
It's all limiting beliefs, man. It's all limiting beliefs. Actually, before we wrap up, I had a conversation with my friends, Andrew, who's absolutely killing it right now. I just moved to a penthouse, right? So, anyways,
Yeah.
before I got engaged to Michaela, 2 weeks before that, I had a conversation with him. He said, hey, Alex, what's holding you back from engaging with Michaela? And you know what I said? Keep in mind, I was making 100K months.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't feel like I have enough money.
Yeah. Because sometimes you look at the wedding and you're like, fuck, the ring,
Not even
20,
that.
30 grand.
I don't feel financially stable enough.
Yeah.
And it showed my lack of self-confidence. And then Andrew was just like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And I said, in that second, I said, you're right. 2 weeks later, bought a ticket to Saudi, organized the whole thing, got engaged.
That was a cute engagement, by the way.
Thanks,
If those
man.
guys haven't seen it, beautiful pictures.
The point is, action. Take action. I didn't sit about it. I didn't think about it. After the conversation, I'm like, I'm getting engaged. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
and
wow.
I'll figure the rest out later.
Yeah.
And that's always been my mentality. I don't care what will happen in between. I will figure it out.
Yeah. As long as I know that I'm always going to reach the end, and that's the mentality we need to have, is I will always reach the finish line rather than, should I even try to reach the finish line?
You will.
I will reach it.
I will reach it, and I'll figure out how to fix whatever happens
100%.
throughout the
Even
process.
if I break my legs running to the finish line, I'm fucking crawling. If I break my arms, I'm rolling. Like, I'm fucking getting there,
literally, Literally. Like, you're going to get there. There's 2 types of people in the world. People that just give up or people that find a way to make it happen.
It's fire. And I think that just pretty much wraps up the show. So, you know what? $650 off. Sign up on the program. But yeah, thank you for joining us today, bro. It's been fun. Congratulations on your move back to Sydney. Congratulations on your engagement as well. And congratulations on a 7-figure year too, bro. That's
Thank you. And you too, man. You've absolutely been crushing it.
Thank you. I've been doing my best. I know.
Sick.
We're doing our best. Yeah.
I mean,
all we can ever do is do our best. Continue to do our
what
best.
I mean, like, I'm not Alan Rich. I can't.
No. We just hold ourselves to higher and higher standards as we go.
Maybe one day.
One day. Or tomorrow. Go now. Build a studio right now.
Done.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us on the show, and hope you guys enjoyed that. And that was Alex Mendoza. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you have enjoyed that episode of Point 01. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along on all our socials at Point 01 Podcast to watch all of the shorts again. We release an episode every single week, and we hope you will join us as we continue to explore the minds of those who make up the 0.01%. Until next time, keep hustling. I'm your host, Alan Fu. I'll see you on the next episode.